Hey everyone, it's Lindsay. I wanted to do my cycle 2 update. This is officially cycle 2, and I'm kind of far into it, so I'm just going to do a brief kind of summary. But first, I wanted to apologize for the last video. It was cycle 1, 8 DPO continued or something like that. It was the one where I got super emotional, and I actually made the comment, I'm probably super emotional because I'm about to start my period. And actually I started that night. Technically it was like the next day, but I started spotting that night. So that was why I was super moody. Just to kind of quickly go over that, it was 8 days past ovulation. My midwife called and said that my progesterone was super low. There was basically no chance that I was pregnant. I knew because it was so low, it can't be that low to, healthy support a pregnancy. So I knew my period was coming. I just didn't know when. 8 days is kind of is a really short luteal phase. So I think it's just my body kind of getting used to having cycles again. This is now cycle 2. My period started on December 9th. That was cycle day 1. Last month I ovulated on cycle day 21. And this month I ovulated on cycle day 16. So that was quite an improvement. That's 5 days shorter. Cycle day 16 is always right around where I ovulate. So that was cool. It's really nice to feel like it's getting back to the normal kind of schedule that I always follow. So now it's just to work on increasing the length of my luteal phase. So a brief summary of this cycle. I got my period, like I said, on December 9th. It was a normal period, like 5 days long. Normal everything, nothing crazy. And then let's see, I was using again my Clear Blue fertility monitor, and I got low readings for a while, and then right around, I think it was cycle day 12, I got a high reading. So that was kind of encouraging. I thought, well, maybe I'll like get high and then peak on cycle day 14 and ovulate like a normal person. But then I continued to get the high reading. I never got peak until cycle day 16, which just happened to be, let's see, I got my LH surge, so a positive OPK, and I will insert that video here.
So today is cycle day 16. I just got this positive ovulation test. It's around 1 o'clock. My fertility monitor this morning just said high, so I hadn't surged yet. But it appears that I'm having my LH surge. Like I said, it's Christmas Eve, so it's perfect timing. It will be really exciting if the cycle's our cycle, because it'll be a Christmas baby. And then once I saw this, I took this digital ovulation test, and it also says yes. So that means I'm having my surge. So I'm pretty excited. It was 5 days earlier this cycle, so that makes me feel a little more normal. And normally I ovulate on cycle day 16, so it's technically like 1 day off, and that's not bad. So I'm pretty excited.
So the positive OPK was on Christmas Eve. I tested I tested the night before Christmas Eve, so the 23rd, and it was not positive, but it was moving towards that. And then I didn't actually test in the morning because I never have gotten a positive OPK in the morning. I tested that afternoon on Christmas Eve at 1, and it was positive. I confirmed it with a digital ovulation test, and it said yes, I was having my LH surge. So I continued to have positive ovulation tests for Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and then like a light positive on the 26th. But mine typically are like 2 to 3 days I'll have my LH surge. But the blaring positive was on Christmas Eve night. So it was really exciting for me because it kind of was like, oh my gosh, if we conceive the cycle, we will have conceived on Christmas. And I just think that's cool. And fun fact, when I got pregnant with Cooper, my period started on Christmas Eve, and then, you know, happened to get pregnant with him that cycle. So it's just kind of cool timing. Like I said, I've said a couple times, I'm not super encouraging and I guess encouraged this cycle. I don't know how my luteal phase is going to act. But it's still encouraging that it's kind of cool timing, and I think that's awesome. If I were to conceive this cycle based on my ovulation date, I would be due September 15th. September 16th, I think, 15th or 16th, and Cooper's birthday is September 23rd, so they would be about a week apart. It's not like ideal, but it's still kind of cool in a way too. Let's see, my leading up to ovulation, I had great cervical mucus. It was egg white. I had more towards like right at ovulation, so that was encouraging that was all working like it should. My ferning looked great. I will insert a picture of that too. And for some of you that don't know, I showed it in the first video that I did for TTC, this baby number 3, but it's just a little microscope. It's like this big. You just put a drip of your spit on there and it dries and it shows you kind of what your estrogen is doing. And when it looks like a fern or a snowflake or like a crystal pattern, that's when you're becoming fertile. So that all looked good. And then last cycle, when they say that when your progesterone increases, your cervical mucus should turn to like a more creamy consistency, and that has actually happened this cycle, so that's good. I am currently 3 days past ovulation. The only thing I've done different this cycle is I started taking maca root, I'm not sure how to say it, to just try to overall improve things. It can be used for several different reasons, but in general it's just for reproductive health for men and women. Basically it balances estrogen and progesterone, so I'm hoping that kind of balancing those will increase my luteal phase. Let's see what else. I also am using progesterone cream. I mentioned that in my last video, that progesterone cream was suggested. I'm using that just as a help. I'm using 2 pumps a day, 1 in the morning and 1 in the evening. It's identical to human progesterone. It's just a different version, but I think it's called bioidentical. And it's just a cream. I really like the kind that I have. It doesn't smell bad. I know some people say that it smells bad. I don't know that the progesterone cream will really do anything, but it sure makes me feel like I'm doing all that I can to get and maintain a pregnancy. So that's very exciting. Like I said, I'm 3 days past ovulation. I know almost for certain that I ovulated on Christmas. I had all the signs and symptoms you can have, and it was really cool, and I'm happy about this. I felt everything on my left side, so even leading up to ovulation I kept having like a heavy feeling on my left side, especially when I would go to the bathroom. It was like when I went to the bathroom it kind of emptied my bladder and let my uterus kind of settle, and I always had like a heavy feeling or something. I don't know if you know what I mean. But so that was encouraging, and it was always on my left side. And then on Christmas I had some like cramping and twinges from my left side. I also had some from my right, so I don't know what that was. It could have been, I could have easily ovulated from my right, who knows, but I feel like it was from my left. So that's the side that I actually have a fallopian tube on, so that's encouraging as well. And then I'm trying to think of anything else. My sister, my sister who's pregnant, is coming down here for her birthday. Her birthday is January 6th, and she will be here for the week. She's getting here on the 3rd and leaving later in the week, and that will be like while I'm able to take a test. So if my luteal phase is long enough and I don't get my period, then I will be testing when my sister's here, which is super exciting. And I can share that with her. If we do happen to be pregnant this cycle, our babies would be due about 3 months apart, which is so exciting. Like I've mentioned, I am not super encouraged. Like I don't know that it's regulated enough to actually be able to support a pregnancy, but it's so easy to get so excited, especially when things feel right, and they feel like everything's kind of aligned. So I don't know. It's hard to not get wrapped up in the excitement of knowing that you're just kind of waiting in that 2-week wait. So I am excited. I'm trying to be cautiously optimistic, but it's so hard. I'm trying to think of anything else. As far as timing this month, our timing was perfect. We were actually on leave for a little bit of my fertile window, but we, other than that, like the timing was fine. So that is my TTC cycle 2 baby number 3 update. I'm 3 days past ovulation and I'm gonna try to wait to test until I think the Countdown to Pregnancy website said January 3rd, I think. I don't know. I think it said January 3rd. I think that will be 10 days past, maybe. If I ovulated on the 25th, 26th is 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know. I'm gonna look again, but I'm gonna try really hard not to test early. It's hard to not want to test like 8 days past ovulation, because you see all these women on YouTube who are like, oh, I'm 8 days past and I got a blaring positive. You're like, well, I could too, and I just want to try. But I'm gonna try not to, because I know that it's not likely to get a positive then. So anyway, let me know if you guys have any questions. Please send all of your baby dust our way. Fingers crossed this cycle is a healthy, happy pregnancy. So anyway, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.